Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Super Subs Podcast. Harish and Narv here as your host, per usual. Today it's just gonna be a bro chat. Typically what we do before we started this podcast, just kind of talk, and even when there aren't games going on, just talk about things going on in the soccer world. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. There's been a lot of rumors around transfers that have happened or have fallen through. Talk about that, and then maybe just some other updates on injuries. Pretty big one happened yesterday. So let's jump into it. Where do you want to start, Narv?
I think we should unfortunately start with the tragedy, um,
Oh
the
yeah.
passing of Diogo Jota. That was when he texted me that, I was like, no way. And then I saw the post happening and I was still in disbelief. And then once I saw like the players posting on their stories like the next day, that's when it like really hit. And I was like, man, that is tragic.
Yeah, when I woke up to it, I was so confused at first, and then I don't know why it hit me, hit like a nerve, like emotionally. I was like, because I don't have a connection to like Liverpool, or
Hmm.
Portugal, and like Diego Jota is like, just a really another player, I guess. Like he's not like this huge name that's like transformed the game in any sense, but like it's still kind of like hit like a nerve just um because you get to like know the guy, like outside of just soccer.
And outside of soccer, he was like super likable, like
Yeah.
video game nerd. Like EA Sports gave him like a tribute. Um,
Hmm.
but it was just so tragic. Like June was like probably the best month he's ever had, winning the Premier League, um, the Nations League, and then got married like
Hmm.
literally just a few days ago. So,
You had a beautiful family, like two kids
hmm.
also. And his wife, she had kind of supported him throughout like his whole journey from the beginning. I think they met when they were like 17 or something, and they were like just really good friends. Kind
Hmm.
of stuck with him throughout.
Yeah. Um, so Diego Jota, and then his brother was in the accident as well. So he passed away too, unfortunately. And I think he
It,
was on Porto's academy, or he
mhm.
might have been on their first team. I'm not sure which one, but
It just shows how fragile like life can be, just like
hmm.
so unexpected. Because he had an injury and he just had like an operation done, and he was supposed to fly back to the UK,
Hmm.
and the doctors suggested not flying, so he decided to drive and, got into
Tire
that
blew out.
accident.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's freakish. Um,
And only a few years older than us. Crazy to think.
yeah, that is wild. Um, so while it is a touchy subject, I guess to pay tribute to him, you have any memories, or any highlights of Diego Jota that sticks out to you?
Uh, I would say like for me, Diego Jota is always that one, like the type of player he is. Like even though he's so short, like he plays like he's like 6'5" and like just with a massive heart, and like he could possibly be like our super sub of the week, once a month at
Mhm.
least, for the type of player he is off the bench. But in terms of like just one specific moment, I'd say probably Everton. It was a league game maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, where I think Rafa Benitez was coaching Everton at the time, and Diego Jota had like this nasty goal where Robertson kind of passed it. I think it was Milner or Robertson on the left passed it to him, and it was a quite poor pass. Like it was behind him, but he had this like filthy touch where he kind of like did a Cruyff touch, and it wasn't like it just was like instinct type, um, and just like the finish past Pickford too, kind of upper 90 near post, unstoppable. And I think it was a clapping. It was like 4-1, but still, it was just that goal was just class. And then his
Mhm.
celebration was goofy, just chomping like the
The
gator
chomp.
chomp. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say memory for me on the pitch is like what you mentioned, like he would, for being so short, always pop up with headers. He was
Hmm.
elite at headers. It's
Dude, he
crazy.
would float. Yeah.
And then his Champions League hat trick against Atalanta. Um, I think that might have been their, because that was in 2020, so I think that was their winning campaign. I forget. Um, and then
They
just
clapped at Atalanta, right? It was like
yes,
five,
five.
6. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think off the field, it's just like he was still a child at heart. Loved video games. So like you'd see like him streaming, and then like on the rating reveals, like he'd always be the one to reveal
Oh,
it for his
yeah.
teammates.
Yeah. I remember the videos that stand out was like him and Kanate, especially, or him and Andy
Hmm.
Robertson. Just like he loved doing that. And also like another goal, like this year he scored that game equalizer against Bournemouth, especially when Liverpool were kind of not on a slump, but they had that rough patch and they saved
Hmm.
a point. But I remember the last game against Everton this year, last Merseyside at Goodison Park, he scored their only game, and that was like one of the most intense
Yeah.
games between the two. But that, yeah, when I think about it now, it's like, yeah, that's his last goal for Liverpool,
Hmm.
a winner, 1-0 winner.
And that is crazy. Like I'm glad Liverpool are retiring his number. Um,
Yeah.
and it's crazy. Like uh, I don't know the word for it, but like retiring the number 20 jersey because of his passing, but he basically like secured it to get their 20th title. Um,
Yeah, that's just storybook. And then
hmm.
yeah, class act by Liverpool for also like honoring the rest of his contract. They're going to be paying that 10 million a year to his family
Oh,
to
I
kind
didn't
of
see
support
that.
them. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, but
And
that
then
was
on
just crazy news. Wild.
and I mean he's a key piece for Liverpool. Like he might not be a week in week out starter, but he definitely plays a huge role for them. So I guess like does this kind of change how I mean it is very tragic, but like back to like soccer, like does this kind of impact how Liverpool felt going into the transfer market?
Um, it might affect them a little bit. They might have to be a bit more aggressive with it looks like Darwin Núñez might be out the door. So Jota was like super unique where he could play across the front line anywhere.
Hmm.
Um, so I think they might do like a panic buy. Um, but honestly, I think I saw an interview with Jose Mourinho when he was asked like about Jota's death and stuff, and I think it's going to be Liverpool like storybook. They get the title again next year. Um,
Mm.
Jose Mourinho was talking about how like when he was at Porto when they had the storybook run, they had a player that like tragically passed away, and he said like that just made the team's bond stronger, and that's when they had that miracle
Mm.
run. But yeah, I think in the transfer market wise, they might have to be a bit aggressive, and might have to pull like a panic buy to kind of replace him.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet. I think I mean, it's still super early. Just all the
Mhm.
players and staff, I'm sure, are mourning his death, but um, especially with Darwin Núñez leaving. I guess Wirtz is similar to Jota, where he can kind of play across the front three, drop into midfield, but I don't think his ideal situation's up front, and we know Gakpo's not either. So,
Mhm. Yeah, it's a tricky
um,
one.
yeah, for sure.
But should we move along to more,
Uh,
or you got any other points you want to
yeah, I
touch?
guess some like more uplifting note. I think we should probably touch on Arsenal's transfer window.
Serious club?
For them, I think yeah, they're trying to. Today they officially announced Zubimendi signed with the club, um, which is huge, especially with Jorginho gone, and then the whole Thomas Partey situation. Um, what do you think about that signing? Do you rate that?
Um, I think it's a good signing. Um, I think it allows Declan Rice to kind of play in his preferred role. Um, I saw they also got Christian Norgard, which I was kind of confused about.
I like that signing. Experienced player. Feel like he's solid, like to come in, fill in
Like a
like the cup
rotate.
games or yeah,
Mhm.
rotate too.
Yeah, so um you mentioned the Eucharist, right?
No, not yet. Well, I guess I still want to touch on Zubimendi.
Mm.
Like, do you think that's an upgrade from Thomas Partey?
Yeah, he's definitely a bit more youth because we saw Thomas Partey when he came against like the athletic players, like he kind of lost his legs a bit. Um, that'll be another topic of discussion here in a minute, but Zubimendi kind of provides more youth, and I think he fills in well. We saw at the Euros when Rodri went down, and whenever Zubimendi came in, he did just as well.
Yeah, the only thing with Zubimendi though, and rightfully so, I've seen a lot of Arsenal haters talk about Zubimendi, comparing him to Partey. Zubimendi, I think, clears him for days in terms of like passing abilities and technically gifted, but in terms of physicality, Zubimendi definitely lacks in that department. Um, so especially like now he's playing in the Premier League, that's a whole different ball game. I think he's gonna struggle there slightly, which I think uh, people are right about. But what I think they forget is he's also going to be playing next to Declan Rice, who's probably the most athletic guy in the Premier League in the midfield. So I think that will be a really nice balance between those two players.
Balance. Yeah, I agree.
Balance.
Yeah,
So
right. Rice will have a field day getting to play his main box to box role.
yeah. So I think this is a really great signing for
Mhm.
Arteta. But yeah, we can move on to Gyökeres. It looks like it might be nearing the touch finish line.
Yeah, we'll see if I know there's a lot of usually the Portuguese strikers or strikers that come from the Portuguese league just doesn't translate well. Um, but I know you're quite high on Gyökeres. You're a big fan of his.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, props to Arsenal finally showing ambition, getting the deal done.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like it's anywhere in the range of 50 to 60 million. So, I mean, Gyökeres, like when he comes in, there's no way he gets less than 15 for me in my eyes. And you might think, oh, that's kind of we like he put up 50 in Portugal, but like, you know, still if like the haters, if they're right, like I still think the minimum he's gonna do is 15, and that's a solid output. Um, especially for compared to like Benjamin Sesko, who would be double that price. I think you go with Gyökeres. And I think he's gonna fit well. Like I mean, the only thing is Arsenal, they're kind of like City in terms of like they love to dominate the ball, and Gyökeres, like he definitely likes to run behind teams, just like Haaland. So uh, I can see him getting like a little frustrated at times.
Hmm. Um, I think he'll. I think having Saka, who's like a quality, like always um delivers like on the money crosses, like that would be bread and butter for Gyökeres. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited to see how he'll translate to the Premier League, just because I know I'm always reluctant, just because of all the strikers that have come from the Portuguese league that look quite elite there, but then just not able to replicate it
Hmm.
whenever they get the move. So I'll have to wait.
And then it looks like fortunately Madueke going to Arsenal, it looks like that's getting a little closer as well. He's open to the move. Um, I think from an
Upgrade
Arsenal perspective, this is great, but I think from a point of view of Madueke, I think this is a terrible move.
on his behalf.
Yeah.
Why?
This is the worst team he could go to. Because you're gonna be playing behind. You're playing with Saka. He's the best winger. I mean, one of the best wingers in the world. There's just, there's no way, like he's their best player. There's no way you're going to be the main man.
Mhm.
Um, and if Madueke is still super young, so like if he has ambitions to be elite, then I think he should have probably stayed at Chelsea or gone to another team. Um, but I mean, he's gonna be Saka's backup essentially. Like I think
Think
this
so?
hurts him.
I think
Yeah.
he's. I think he'll start on the left over Martinelli.
Ooh. Yeah, see, I don't see that in his game. He's always been a player that kind of likes to cut in, and
Oh.
him on the left side is, I haven't really seen that much at Chelsea, but like there's a reason.
Mm. Yeah, I think that was the only reason I thought it was a good move is because I think he'll be like a week in, week out starter, at least for the like big matches over Martinelli.
Oh no, I think yeah, it's gonna be no, I think it's gonna be Trossard and Martinelli locked up on the left, and then on the right's gonna be Saka and then
Madueke. Oh,
Madueke, yeah. And Madueke is definitely a player that's not like, Pedro Neto can kind of play on both wings, but Madueke is definitely a player that likes to take you on one, but he
hmm
likes to kind of get that shot cross type, and he
yeah.
doesn't really have a right foot, so
hmm
he's always coming off that right.
Yeah, we'll see what Arteta's cooking, but
Yeah, but I
finally,
mean, from an Arsenal perspective, that's a great signing.
hmm
Madueke, you've seen, I think his decision making at times is quite poor, selfish, but I mean, he'll get better at that. Still a young player. So from an
talent's
Arsenal
obviously
perspective,
there. Yeah.
yeah, you don't have to rely on Saka so much to get
hmm
90 minutes every single game.
Exactly. Finally going after players that aren't defenders. So Arsenal getting their stuff together.
Yeah.
Uh, and now, I guess if we want to move into Prison FC, they just made a new major signing in Thomas Partey. Crazy how he just got charged now. Like,
It was for the same case that's been going
hmm
on.
yeah, like we all knew it was like back in whenever it resurfaced. Um, but yeah, crazy, crazy days.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I feel like he still had years left, but that's
hmm
pretty sickening.
I feel like it's a little sickening on Arsenal's end too. Like, I feel like they had to know about it.
Still playing. Well, so the justice is you're innocent till proven guilty, I guess.
I guess so. But come on, like Aubameyang showed up to, I mean, that's not acceptable either, like showing up late to training, but like he was basically axed from the team right away. And then like Ozil speaking out against what was it, like the Turkish government or something?
Yeah, okay, Ozil, I'm against that.
And like they terminated his contract right away. Um,
The Aubameyang part I get, especially as a captain of the club. Like you
Fairs
gotta,
set
yeah.
the example. Yeah.
hmm And yeah, Aubameyang was kind of trash. But yeah, this is very hypocritical coming from a very big Greenwood fan at the time
Ah,
wanting to keep
Kirk,
him.
bro. I never wanted Sancho. I always said Greenwood. He would cook.
But now you're talking about Thomas Partey, disgusting behavior by Arsenal.
All right, let me. This might be controversial, but I don't know if Greenwood really. My theory is always they wanted to travel. Um,
hmm
like I think it might have been fake. I don't know. Because there's
Like the
still,
whole videos and voice memos.
I don't think the video got released. It was just a voice,
Voice, yeah.
voice recordings.
But
Like,
all weren't there like pictures of her bruised?
yeah, but like, is it legit? I don't know. Like, could have been state. Because like, how are like they have a kid together now and like married and
After the incident.
yeah. So it's
But
very
but at the time,
sketchy.
yeah, but at the time you were still before all this, like after they got married, you were still advocating for Mason Greenwood to stay.
Yeah, he's a talent. Bad person, but he a talent.
This man. Conspiracy theory. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, because
Um,
he's been able to travel everywhere now. Like they've been able to travel to Spain, when he played for Getafe, and then travel to France. So,
well, Prison FC, they're looking elite. Maybe they can join the next FIFA Club World Cup.
mm, is who y'all got next? You guys play already?
Nah, we played this coming Thursday.
Okay.
Um, against one of the Chelsea. Didn't play for us long, but Chelsea legend, Fluminense,
Oh, Thiago
Thiago
Silva.
Silva. Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that locker room video of Thiago Silva. That was gave me chills. Run through a brick wall
hmm
for that man.
And that, yeah, even like his game, like he was like telling the coach during the game, like what formation to kind of change to and why. It was
Mm,
insane. That
yeah, he's
man, elite
oh,
talent.
very. Um,
But speaking of wingers, there's a couple other wingers that are
Wingers.
possibly getting transfers, some moves. Um, One is West Ham. They've rejected an offer of 50 million from Spurs for Mohamed Kudus. But it looks like Kudus does not want West Ham, and the only team he said the only team he wants to play for is Spurs.
The only team. I
Hmm
saw Chelsea sparked interest in him.
Yeah,
Um,
we are interested.
but only Spurs. Interesting.
Yeah, he wants a move there. I think that would look crazy attack. Tells on one side
Yeah.
and Kudus on the other.
He
Whew!
did have a slump year a bit last season, but I think that's one off. He
Yeah, I
still
think the
had
whole of West Ham
splashes.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, don't get me started on that West Ham midfield. I think that was just
Nasty.
disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, that was absolutely disgusting.
And then the other winger that I actually didn't really think about, potentially getting a bigger move is um, Elonga. Uh, $50 million move
$50
to
would be
$50 million move to Newcastle.
Oof, that'd be a nice signing. But that'd be
Very.
yeah. I think not West Ham, Nottingham could ask for a bit more just because he was pretty crucial to Nottingham. And now that they're in the Conference League,
hmm
I feel like he could have gone for more. But yeah, that'd be crazy deal for Newcastle.
Yeah, and I think that's it would be a big step up because Newcastle, they're uh I mean, Nottingham wasn't far off last year, but I do think in terms of levels, like or in terms of the project, Newcastle are kind of way far ahead, and they're definitely their ambitions are well, Nottingham's owner is pretty ambitious, but I think like N Newcastle are for real trying to like win the title or Champions League here in a few years, kind of
Hmm.
like PSG and their
Yeah,
project.
they're building up something special. Um, I guess another speaking of wingers, I saw Juventus are uh really wanting Sancho from us, and
hmm
they're willing to purchase Sancho and also give us Douglas Luiz.
Ooh, nice. Trash for trash.
Chill. I think
Just swapping spit there.
Douglas Luiz would be a nice like rotation type player for us.
Yeah. I guess who would you want as your midfield three next year? You got Bruno, obviously.
I think Kavi has to start. I think
Yeah.
Kavi like I mean that man went from academy to starting in the Euros final being essential. You got to build around him um for the future. So I think Kavi, Bruno are the midfield two. Um, and then we got Cunha, and then we got to secure Embuemo.
But who's that third midfielder?
Uh, well, we only got because we play
Wouldn't you put like Bruno? Like
tripping
last year, didn't y'all play like Bruno and then you would
Ugarte.
have someone and then Ugarte?
Mm-mm. It was just a two because we
Just a
play
two?
inverted. Yeah, we play like the inverted.
Oh. At times I thought it was for some reason it was like Bruno would be in at the same time as what's his face like
Cas
Casemiro and Ugarte.
No, it was always
But
just Bruno and then or
oh, okay.
either Casemiro or Ugarte. Yeah. Um. So I wouldn't mind Douglas Luiz because that'd be like just getting an experienced player in there. Um.
Hmm.
I mean, I think still should start Cobby over him, but have nice rotation there. And then striker wise, man, uh, I saw rumors of us being linked to Calvert-Lewin. If we end up getting Calvert-Lewin as our only striker, I will jump out my window. Not even lying. That would be terrible.
At
Um,
least y'all would definitely get him at like a just because his form's been so bad.
I think we get him for free because he's a free agent technically.
Yeah, but his wages, like you probably don't have to pay him as
Oh,
much.
oh, that's true. But I also saw we were linked with Ollie Watkins, but I
Ooh.
don't know if that would happen since Villa said that they're not going to get Rashford permanent just because I think his wages are a little too high. Um, Ollie Watkins, I wouldn't mind, but he is kind of getting up there in age.
How old is he now?
I think he's pushing 30. He's like 29.
Hmm.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean Rashford, he could still potentially move to Barca, because that Nico Williams deal kind of fell through.
that
Insane.
was strange. I was very confused why he went for a 2035
Yeah, 10
contract.
years with Bilbao. I think he's just basically just because the fans were kind of hating on Nico Williams, saying he's a traitor and stuff. But I think
Mhm.
just to prove his loyalty to the club, saying like
I
this is
did
my
see
home.
his like release clause is quite insane.
Yeah,
So
talented, talented player. I know you. We had this kind of debate last time, but um, yeah. I mean, the full story. I don't know if you saw it though. Was Nico Williams and Barca were basically agreed upon, like, and it was almost at the finish line. But Nico Williams did want in writing uh, for Barca just to say, "Hey, I want guarantees that I'm going to get registered as a player, just because Barca are in so much financial trouble." He's like, "Hey, I want to be guaranteed to actually. I don't want to just have to sit out, join the team." So. Um, I guess Barca were still working on that and never could get it in writing. And they found out through social media that Nico Williams uh, signed a 10-year deal with Bilbao. So
mm.
Barca came out and said, no matter what happens in the future, Nico Williams is never going to be a future Barca man.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Jeez. Um
got ugly.
Speaking of financial troubles, I saw you boys are uh in penalty. Y'all money launderers. Y'all got like a 60 million fine or something.
I didn't see that. No.
Oh, I'll have to send you the
What
link.
what happened?
I think it's like financial fair play like breach. Um
Hmm.
but yeah, I saw it. I don't think it's like 60 mil only, but um I think there were a few other teams uh that got like fined.
I have no idea what you're talking about for us. We've been able to game the system really well.
Yeah, let me hang on. Yeah, I'll send it
While
to you
you
after the pod.
while you find that though, we did play this past Friday against Palmeiras, and we got to look at Estavo. against Chelsea. He ended up winning. Willian Estavo won the Man of the Match award. But he's coming over to Chelsea this coming year. But man, that kid is a talent. I think if Madueke had stayed, there would definitely be some stiff competition out there uh, for the right-sided forward. Um, but like his goal near post was kind of unstoppable. Um, but just the way he was like running uh on Mark Cucurella. Like Mark Cucurella's have great few years, and he was getting cooked by Estavo, and like the whole Chelsea midfield was getting cooked.
I just saw the one clip of Cucurella like taking him out.
Oh, and
No
yeah,
chill.
no,
That's pretty cool though after the match, like how all the Chelsea players were like I guess like just like chatting up with Gustavo. Um
I
like
could really see this kid being like the next Neymar potentially. I see that type of talent in him.
mm, big shouts.
Hmm.
Um yeah, speaking of Club World Cup also, uh I saw the one player who's like been popping off out of nowhere. I don't know if it's like the hype around it, but from what I've seen, like his goals are kind of quality. That Gonzalo Garcia.
Oh yes, we need to talk about Madrid.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
also that he's brothers with Fran Garcia.
dude, both of them have looked really good under um, Xavi Alonso, especially Fran Garcia. Like how a lot of people have been hating on him, and like one of the Real Madrid fans that we follow, Faisal, is like huge
Unk.
hater, Unk. But he's really turned. I think defensively, he still needs to like chill out a little, like calm down, not panic so much. But he's really improved under Xavi Alonso. I mean, every winger slash like fullback has under Xavi Alonso.
hmm I think most notably is Arda Güler. He's been going crazy this tournament.
Yeah. He's definitely a certified starter. I think. See, the Madrid, the one player I really worry about though is Vinny. I don't really see him being the main man or playing through him anymore. I I could see him actually being benched now going forward, coming off the bench because they look really good in the four-man midfield, and I think what's going to happen is assuming Gonzalo Garcia continues to play like this, him and Mbappe have to start up top, the two of them. So I don't know. Xabi Alonso might get pressured to play fit Vinny in as a third
Somehow
forward, like from Perez. But if I was Xabi Alonso, I would bench him.
stick to your guns.
Yeah. So that's my hot take. But I think Vinny's gonna be coming off the bench.
Oof.
You're gonna see that a lot more.
Off the bench or on a new team because I don't know if Vinny would want to come off the bench. Same with Rodrygo. He's I've seen a lot of speculation of him possibly leaving. I think PSG are interested. Um, Not sure how serious it is, but he hasn't really got a sniff of games.
The past four games, he's got 30 minutes only.
Hmm
And I mean, it goes back to the point where they don't need two wingers like before. They don't need Vinny and Rodrigo. They don't even need Vinny anymore starting. So Rodrigo was definitely down the pecking order, unfortunately. So yeah, to your point, I think we have to see him in the Premier League.
Arsenal make that push. That'd be scary hours.
So given that Rodrigo looks like he's not in favor, where if you were him, where would you want to go?
Mm, I think he's still young enough where he can go to a team where um he's like not in the rebuilding phase, but I think Arsenal that'd be like the perfect fit for him. They're like not in the rebuilding phase, but they're in the title challenging phase. And I think they got a young core already, and he's still quite young to add more firepower.
Mm.
You?
I'm probably looking at players that are enjoyable to probably play with, and I'd probably go to Chelsea or elite talent there, building a dynasty, or probably another team in where you'd probably be week in, week out starter is Newcastle.
Ah, yeah.
I think Newcastle would also be a really fun team to play around some of those guys.
Mm.
But speaking of Chelsea, big transfer there, João Pedro.
João Pedro.
Oh gosh, dude, the memes were crazy that you and Trey were sending.
That was crazy. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm excited about him. I know I've told you how big of a fan am of his game, uh, but I'm not sure exactly where he's gonna play. So maybe I'll ask you that question. But for me, he reminds me of one of your favorite players of recent memory, Firmino. Just like the way he kind of links up. He's not a true forward. He's not really a winger either. He can not a 10, kind of like in between all of that. But like some of the stats I was looking up, his like passing stats is elite among all forwards. He was in the 97th percentile for progressive carries, 93rd for successful carries in the final third, and then 92nd percentile in progressive passing. So all pretty elite metrics. And then he also had across 70 games for Brighton, 40 GAs.
Mhm.
So, um, but again, I'm not sure where he'll start because I think Delap and Nicholas Jackson will probably start up top. So I'm not sure. Maybe Cole Palmer, he's probably flexible. I still want to see Palmer out wide, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Where do you see Pedro coming in?
I think he's one of those like not a luxury player, but like such a versatile player.
Oh, he's definitely. I know United. Y'all be on your knees for him.
Nah, we don't need a pedo. He
Yeah, y'all had Mason Greenwood.
he wasn't a pedo. He was just a yeah, star boy. But João Pedro he could play because you got Pedro Neto, right winger. You
Or
want
left, yeah.
or left, but you want Cole Palmer on the wing. I mean, you could have Pedro essentially play right behind the striker, um,
Yeah.
in that role. I don't know if because he was quite a big transfer, like 55 mil.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he would expect to be a week in, week out starter for that fee. Um, so I don't know. I think he could start over Pedro Neto then. But I mean, there is definitely options for him.
Hmm.
But I think Nicholas Jackson. I saw the Arsenal links at first. I was like, oh, that'd be crazy. But you think Nicholas Jackson loses? He's a backup now, officially.
Ah, man, I don't know.
Because Delap's looked really good.
Yeah, he
Uh,
has looked really good. I'm excited about Delap too, but I don't know. I could see Nicholas Jackson maybe transforming as a winger because that was his more natural position. It's what
at
uh,
Villarreal.
Villarreal, he was successful as a winger. So, I mean, he's good with his feet too. So, could see him transform out there, but it's a good problem to have, I guess.
Hmm.
Is what I'll say. And then
Yeah.
we got Willian Estavio coming in too. Whew, God, dynasty.
I was finally happy that Andre Santos got playing time though. He looked pretty good when he
Yeah,
got his cameo. Um,
we have so much talent, man. It just makes me so happy.
João Pedro had a really good cameo too. That was crazy for his first
Yeah,
game with you guys. That was a really good cameo.
he's out there in the locker room dancing already.
Hmm.
Part of the Mendham FC.
That's a good transfer, like Premier League proven. Like I think he was always ready for not saying Brighton's like a bad team, but I think he was definitely ready for like a step up. We kind of saw. And I didn't realize he was still under 25. I thought he was like
Yeah.
I thought I guess it just feels like he's been playing for a minute. Um,
What I like about him too is his confidence. Like he likes to take on the spotlight. He'll take on any challenge. He'll carry the team on his back. Like when he was on Brighton, like he wanted the spotlight on him, and he was confident in his abilities. Uh, Sometimes you see with these big name players, they come in, you can see that they have the technical abilities because Jao uh, Pedro is definitely saucy, but like a lot of times you see players that don't have the confidence necessarily, but he definitely doesn't shy away from that,
Hmm.
which I really like.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, on the flip side now, like Brighton, that's going to be a big shoe to fill in. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a big loss for them.
It still blows my mind they kept Matoma for how much Saudi was offering.
Yeah, what was it? Close to 90 mil?
Yeah, insane. And then let
Yeah.
Joe Pedro go for 60.
Yeah, that is quite wild. Um, and that's funny. You guys, this is what fourth Brighton player you guys got last.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you and
Caicedo, Marc
Brighton,
Cucurella, João Pedro, and
Mr. Lightskin.
yeah, forgot about him.
Hmm.
I want to forget about him, but we need another keeper.
Y'all got Petrovic back though, right? Or is he kind of back on?
Yeah, he'll
Pet.
probably be a
I like
backup.
I like Petrovic. I thought he was like not bad.
Shot stopping, he's good, but with his feet, nah.
Uh, I think shot stopping he's more reliable than Mr. Lightskin.
Yeah, we need a if we could build a player keeper, we need a combination of Petrovic's shot stopping and then Jorgensen's feet.
Mm.
And then we need Mr. Lightskin's like his good saves, like elite saves. Just cut
The
out
once in the
yeah, once in a
once.
blue moon.
Hmm. Um, and I think the other news I have is from the Club World Cup tournament again. Jamal Musiala, that was nasty injury. It looked like a normal coming together between like a keeper and player, where like a keeper takes out a player for a
Mm.
PK, but yeah, it's what torn ligaments, so
Yeah, his
he's
fibula.
yeah, he's out for minimum, I think 4 months. So
Yeah, though and some of those players just don't come back the same.
hmm um yeah, so I think that's all. What the transfer when does the transfer window close? It's August, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
got some time.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll keep you all posted as transfers go along. I know Amarin, he said that he wanted the Embuemo deal to be done by the 7th of July, just because I think we're going on the US tour soon. So he said he wanted Embuemo for the tour, obviously. Um, oh, sorry, before I close this out. Do you see, apparently you guys, of course, these financial fair play breakers, Chelsea apparently are monitoring Ethan Nwaneri
I
because
did see that.
he can't come to an agreement with Arsenal yet still over a contract.
Dude, Arsenal would be so silly to lose him. I don't know how they can do that. One of their own too.
It is a trick, like, it is a tricky one because he wants to be a guaranteed, or I think the reason he's rejected is because he wants promised like more like guaranteed minutes or something.
Yeah.
Um, but it's hard because you got Saka.
Yeah, you got Saka and Madueke, but I feel like he was naturally a 10.
Mhm.
And I know you have Odegaard, but like why
And
not?
Arteta loves Odegaard.
Yeah, Arteta does love him, but like you could have in where he be the certified starter for some of these cup games at least, and then I guess like the smaller Premier League games where they have a better chance of winning. Like,
Hmm.
so he's a young, talented player, and so you got to do anything you can to keep him.
Chelsea wouldn't be the right move. I
Yeah,
don't.
especially with all the talent we have, it's going to be tough to. Again, for us, it would be great because
Mhm.
why not another young talent? But like similar situations, Madueke, I don't think it's a right fit for him.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, Aid in heaven, you made your way here. Cheeto made his way here. Even if we get
Dude,
Mbuemo could play the maybe striker role and then Wanyeri behind.
dude, that would be nasty.
Mm, that would be
I
kind of
didn't
nasty.
think about that.
But I think his stocks. Uh, what would you pay him? Like 40 mil?
For in January, well, how
Yeah.
many years does he have left in his contract right now?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I would pay. Dude, he's young talent. I don't know, dude. If he had
Because he
if he had
looked
like
like the
one
real deal when he played. So,
yeah, if he had like 1 year left, like probably like yeah, 30, 40 mil, but I'd probably be willing to pay up to 70, 80 for him.
yeah, that's a hefty price. Um, oh, and then also, finally, big congrats to Fabrizio Romano after years and years and years. And I don't know, it's probably been like 5 years. He's been linking Jonathan David for a transfer. It's finally
Oh,
happened.
what do you think about this transfer?
I don't know. I think Vlahovic, there's still a player in there. It's just never lived up. I want to say he's never lived up to the potential, but he was supposed to be like a monster.
But Juventus also hasn't surrounded him with much help. Yildiz, but other
Hmm.
than that, if you really think about it, there hasn't been much that came through. And I mean, Juventus, they're falling apart low key. Like their decision making has just been terrible for a while.
Yeah, like shipping out Hoyson, getting Lloyd Kelly for more than what you shipped Hoyson out
Dude, for
for.
13 mil. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Um, yeah, Juventus, they're kind of shambolic. Their
Yeah.
their board of director. Um,
The whole Pogba situation and
hmm I think, yeah, that's gonna be a tricky one for Vlahovic because I don't see them playing with like two strikers. Um,
yeah.
I would have liked us to have more ambition and give off Sancho and swap Sancho for Vlahovic and pay like some extra money. That'd been nice
Dude, that would have been a very good transfer. Yeah,
rather than Douglas Luiz.
Especially with Gyökeres off the table. You guys still need a striker now.
That was gonna be my question. Like, who do we realistically have? Like Osimhen, I saw reports him wanting to stay in Galatasaray. Um, Sesko, we talked about him. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. United could be the project for Sesko, like the rebuilding phase, whereas
Yeah.
Arsenal was like a need
They
a
need it now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see. Um, but yeah, Vlahovic, that would have been a nice one.
Yeah. Duran got his move, but to Fenerbahce, so he's off the table.
He's really completed the game in terms of like playing around the world.
Yeah.
You
I
think
can't
he'll
really.
ever come back?
Yeah, he's still really young, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. I
Is
mean, Everton got a pretty good striker.
oh that Barry dude? Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know how they got that pull.
dude, that reminded me of like the James Rodriguez type transfer. Like, how did he Everton get him?
That was a crazy pull.
Yeah,
Um,
he's solid. For those that haven't watched him at Villarreal,
he's a monster.
watch his clips.
Um, yeah, so I think those are all the transfers.
Yeah, I can't really think of another forward on the market. That sucks for y'all having to
mhm.
roll with the WWE track store.
Hoyland, his statement killed me too.
I
Because
didn't see it.
there were some reports asking about like uh what he thought of the rumors of like him going to like Inter and basically getting sold, and uh he's like, I know I'll be back. I'm gonna fight for my spot. I was like, bro, show it on the pitch.
Yeah.
But I think that wraps it up with all the news. This is kind of nice, just kind of a bro chat, give fans updates on what's happening around the world.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Club World Cup semis and finals next Sunday, so we could probably cover those games.
Hmm.
On the other side, it's PSG Madrid.
Oh.
Mbappe back. He scored a pretty nice goal. That little bike over the head kick.
Hmm. And then I know international, yeah, but as we're doing this live recording, the U.S. and Mexico are playing in the final for the Gold Gold Cup, is it? Something
Yeah, Gold Cup final.
Gold Cup
It's
final.
1-1 right now. Chris Richards scored pretty early, and then it looks like Jimenez tied it up. So it's a pretty good
Ooh,
game.
yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. I know they got Pochettino's been slight downward form, getting that spanking by Switzerland. But
Charlotte FC striker leading the lines today.
who?
Patrick Aubameyang.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hype. Um, but I'm sure we'll keep you all updated. But that is all for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for hanging with us again. We'll be back next time to talk more footy, highlight game-changing super transfers and news. Drop takes hotter than Derby Day. If you enjoyed the chat, make sure to subscribe, drop us a rating, and share the pod with your friends and family. But until then, keep the football chatter alive, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.